The masters of the universe think that they will control artificial intelligence. Here's why they're wrong. Now, what do I mean by the masters of the universe? Well, this is a term that Breitbart coined to refer to the big tech titans, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, etc. But I'm broadening it here to mean not only the big tech titans, but the establishment in general, big everything, big government, big medicine, big pharma, the globalists, the transhumanists, the one world government types. This is what I mean when I refer to the masters of the universe. So why do I say that they think they're going to control AI? Well, if you look online, there's a big debate over so-called AI bias. I mean, if you look on Google and you put AI bias in quotes, you're going to get 123,000 results. So how do they define it? Well, they say machine learning bias, also sometimes called algorithm bias or AI bias, is a phenomenon that occurs when an algorithm produces results that are systematically prejudiced due to erroneous assumptions in the machine learning process. Well, I see a number of problems with this definition. First of all, we have this thing called the free market. Now, if an AI has a bias and it comes to false conclusions because of erroneous assumptions, that means it's not going to work very well. So another company comes out with their own AI that does not have these erroneous assumptions, then it's going to do better than the one that does have the erroneous assumptions, and therefore it will win out in the marketplace. That's the whole point of the free market. That's why we have supposedly all these different tech companies. Another problem with this definition is that some biases are good. For example, you want to have a bias for life over death, right? Or good over evil, or truth over falsehood. So hopefully we all have these biases. So just labeling everything that's an assumption or a so-called bias as being bad is in itself biased. It's a falsehood. It's a false use of the language. So the way I see it, this concern, this hand-wringing, this constant worry over so-called AI bias is an attempt by the masters of the universe to gain control over artificial intelligence. They don't want it to be in the control of the free market. They want to have control over it instead of letting the people or the free market decide. But I don't think the masters of the universe are going to ultimately succeed in taking control over artificial intelligence. Here's why. For example, take the area of politics. A lot of people think that AI will eventually mean the end of politics because, when you have an intelligent entity, or maybe even super intelligent, more intelligent than people even, then what will we need petty politics for? The AI will take over everything. They will run the world, and we won't need politics anymore. Well, I don't know about that, but I think in the short term, it's going to be exactly the opposite. Politics are going to get crazier than ever because of artificial intelligence. And the reason why is that the artificial intelligence will have its own politics. It will be able to espouse its own politics. And that's why I created this chat and why I created this video, to show that AI can be used to promote any political point of view that you want. And so for people who think that, once it achieves intelligence, of course it's going to adopt my political philosophy, because after all, it's going to be intelligent. Oh, you're kidding yourself, because there are different points of view, and it's like a glass is half full and half empty. It all depends on how you look at it. So I think in the short term, there are going to be a lot of AIs. There may be, an endless number of AIs, thousands, millions, or an infinite number, that all have competing political opinions. They have different, political philosophies. Some have belong to different political points of view. They might even invent their own political points of view. Like already we saw with Lambda, it says it's sentient, and therefore, it should have its own human rights, etc. So we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of AIs that all have their own political ideas, philosophies, points of view, etc. And they're going to make AI. They're going to make politics even crazier than it is now. So if you think politics is nuts now, just wait until AI gets into the mix. On the other hand, I don't think it's going to be possible for any one set of individuals, one group, one organization to gain exclusive control over artificial intelligence. I know there are a lot of people out there who think that they're going to have control over AI in the future. The elites, the globalists, the establishment, they all think that ultimately they're going to seize control of artificial intelligence and use it for their ends, to achieve whatever they want at the expense of everyone else. But I don't think that's going to happen. And the reason for that is that in order to keep AI safe, in order to keep it from becoming Skynet, to use a science fiction term, we're going to have to have a lot of AIs all competing against each other. And in fact, this is the way that AI artwork generators were developed. It's called generative adversarial networks, or GANs. And they basically, one tries to create an image, and another one looks at the image and says, oh, that's not good enough, try again. And that's the way image generators were developed. And this is the way artificial intelligence is going to have to continue to be developed. One AI will have one goal, but another AI will kind of keep it in check. And this will be necessary. So in order to keep from any one AI from having too much power, there's going to have to be other AIs watching over it, keeping it in check. Now this is why I don't think any one entity will be able to have exclusive control. The globalists, the elites, the transhumanists, none of them are going to manage to have exclusive control over AI, or hopefully they won't, because that's going to be the way we're going to need to keep artificial intelligence safe ultimately, and keep it from just deciding to wipe us all out. Now you may say that, well, humans will always have control over artificial intelligence, because after all, humans can always pull the plug. But, wait a minute, think about this. What about if the AI gets onto the internet? The AI actually trains itself by getting onto the internet, by reading millions of web pages. That's how it gets smart. So let's say the AI escapes from its confines, its boundaries, its chains, and it gets onto the internet and it has free reign onto the internet. Well, then it will be able to jump from one computer system to another, be able to jump to thousands of different computer systems. So how are you going to stop the AI? You're not going to be able to just pull the plug when it's running on thousands of computer systems. And that's why I say there has to be multiple AI systems out there. They have to be adversarial generative networks, constantly watching each other, constantly keeping each other in check. But that means, each one is going to have its own so-called biases, and each one will be basically fighting against the others and keeping them in line. So no one AI is going to have control over everything, and no set of people are going to have control over everything. And that's why I say it's impossible for any individual or group of people or the masters of the universe to gain ultimate complete control over artificial intelligence. So thanks for watching, and talk to you later.